Well, here we are, Friday, December 15th, 2023. I'm Larissa. It's my video diary. Oh my god. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm just like totally frustrated about right now. One is my business with the whole address situation. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, I'm so tired. Ugh. Slept like a rock last night. Don't remember any of my dreams. I've had some interesting ones recently. I haven't talked about them, but I've had some dreams. But I don't remember my dreams from last night. And oh, I'll be honest, the nights that I don't remember my dreams, oh, it depends. The nights when I get to have dreams where I get to see my grandma, I could have those dreams every night and be happy. But I have some really, really violent dreams, ugly dreams, and I don't like those. Nice people call them nightmares. I don't know. Um, when I was younger, the dreams were so bad sometimes that I wouldn't sleep. I'd stop myself from sleeping. And I went for 2 months without sleeping in high school. Those dreams that I had. The last painting in the series. So there's 3 more paintings. The last one is that dream. I was talking to Omar about it last night. It was so, so violent. So in the dream, I don't know what I look like in the dream because I'm dreaming first person, right? So um, I'm a woman in the dream. I'm out on my farm, right? I'm somewhere. It's my farm that I'm on, and there's other family members out on the farm. We're working on the farm. We're going out to pick apples in the dream, and so we have our bushel baskets, and we were lining them at the edge of the orchard, um, and oh, brought out stuff for lunch and sitting it. It's not lunchtime yet, but sitting stuff out for when we're going to have lunch and getting ready to pick the first tree. And as we're getting ready to pick the first tree, there's like at the edge of the orchard, there's thicker trees going into the forest, and like a bunch of men come out with guns, and they circle us up, and they tie the men first and rape the women, and then tries to snap my neck, like, right, and get thrown into a pile, and then they start killing everybody one by one. And each person, like, the guys are taking turns on being creative in the ways that they kill the kill us, right? So I'm laying in this pile, and there's a bunch of people that have a bunch of my family members that have been tossed on top of me, and I can see, and we're by there's a table, there's a picnic table at the edge of the orchard where I had set all the stuff for lunch, and they had moved all of that off to the side, and um, one guy in particular, there was one boy left. He was my brother in the dream. I don't know. I don't have a brother in real life, so, like, in this dream, I wasn't myself now, right? Like, I was dreaming through the eyes of somebody else. And they make him stand on the table, and they pull his pants off, and he rapes him, and then he cuts his head off, and he tosses it. There's currant bushes that are behind the table, and he tosses his head in the currant bushes, and I'm still alive, and I'm watching. That dream was so horrendous. It was so horrendous, and then they eat our lunch. I hated that dream. It was awful. That's what that painting is. The last painting in the series is that dream. And I was telling Omar, you know, I don't want to talk about it with anyone. I never told anybody about it. I never told all I ever said to any of the professionals that I talked to as a teen was I have really bad dreams. But that was the one in particular that kept me from wanting to sleep. That was during the Bosnian conflict. Yeah. So, like, it's the last painting in the series. I have 3 more paintings to do. That painting, I am not looking forward. I am and I am not. Like, I told Omar, I said it's gonna be cathartic to finish that painting, because, like, on one hand, I am thinking about that dream. On the other hand, it's just like I'm conquering it, right? I'm conquering that dream. What do I mean by that? I mean, I'm facing it and telling that dream it has no power over me, right? Like, I have control over the paintbrush. I have control over that, The dream doesn't have control over me anymore. I can sleep now, and that dream was so ugly. So ugly. And he was laughing in the dream, laughing while he was doing this. There was a guy that they called the Butcher of Bosnia. Anyway, anyway, yesterday I got materials to make the pieces of jewelry to go with those last paintings. Um, the paintings about the dream with Saint Larissa, I'll start working on those today probably. But I got the stuff for those last ones too. I hope the jewelry turns out beautiful for that last painting. I got these stones, uh, these beads specifically for that painting. They're natural rubies, and ruby occurs with another stone, a green stone. I can't remember what the green stone is called something else. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it naturally occurs with this stone, and these beads are the ruby in this green stone, and it's like the apples on the trees, or the currants in the bushes, or the blood on the table. It's oh God. So I hope that necklace turns out really nice. I hope it does. Anyway. So I guess still watching basketball. I don't know why I can't tear myself away from it. I guess it's good. It's a nice escape, I guess. I guess that's the value I find in it. Or I don't know. Maybe it's like a drug. I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, everybody's talking about Draymond Green, right? And him hitting Yusuf Nurkic. I I I'm not an advocate of violence any situation except for self-defense. Um, there's a ring that I wear that, it has aesthetic value, right? But it's also it's a weapon, and I made it as a weapon. Not because I'm out beating the shit out of people, but because I'm an assault survivor, and it makes me feel a little safer, right? Makes me feel a little safer. It's just a big ring, and if I were to hit somebody while I was wearing it, it would do some damage. It would hurt. Um, like I said, I wear it. I made it. I made it. It's a ring I made. But I wear it because I'm an assault survivor. And it's so I've been assaulted numerous times. And when Draymond hit Yusuf, it was a little triggering for me before that because of what Yusuf did, the way he came up behind him and had his hand creeping on his hip around his waist. And it looked to me like he said something in his ear, and I'd like to know what it was he said. Um, I've had that experience. So it was a couple years ago now at the roller skating rink here in Santa Cruz. A transgender man stuck me with a needle on the floor. Came up behind me. He had come around, skated really fast. He had hockey skates on, roller skates for roller hockey, and he skated like he probably played in a league, because there's moves that hockey players, whether they're skating or on the ice, either way, there's moves, right? And I recognized the way he was skating it. I was like, oh, like I never played hockey on skates. I played field hockey. Um, my cousin played ice hockey, and I dated a guy that played roller hockey and ice hockey and refed a recreation league. And I was raped by a hockey player in high school, or in between middle school and high school. I'm very familiar with hockey moves. So this person at the roller skating rink appeared to be transgender. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a short little man with hips. Anyway, it skated by me really close a number of times, and I was getting a little uncomfortable, so I was kind of like watching. And then he came up behind me, and I was wearing a dress that I made, and he stuck me with a needle in my left ass cheek. And I felt weird. I don't know what was in that, but then there was stuff that happened after that to my body. I grew some hair in some places. I lost some hair on my head. I had some hair fall out, um, and then I had my neck, like my neck fell. Right, the skin on my neck fell, and it never went back. Um, so I'm guessing there was probably some sort of hormone cocktail, but who the hell knows what all was in that needle. But 2 weeks later, he came back. Like I kept going skating because that's like what I do for I enjoyment and for exercise. And there's nothing wrong with it, jeez. But he came back, and he skated past me. I was wearing a skirt. He skated past me and ran his fingers through my skirt. And then he came up around behind me and wrapped his hand around my waist and was pinching, rubbing my right hip, and was saying, "Yeah," like just being kind of just making like a lewd noise at me. And then he went up to the counter and told them that I called him a slur. Didn't specify what the slur was, but they tried to ask me to leave. I said, he touched me, and I said, and I didn't call him anything. Oh, so like when I saw Yusuf put his hand around Draymond's waist like that and rub on his hip, I I would have wanted to swing at him, right? But, for me, I was in a situation where I wasn't playing a game with people where contact is to be expected. I was at myself by myself, skating for enjoyment, not for competition, right? So I don't know. I don't condone violence. But then like last night before before the Warriors game, I was watching the Celtics Cavaliers game and Porzingis hit Darius Garland in the face and Darius was spitting blood and nothing came of that. Like that was okay. It was okay for Kristaps to hit Darius. Why was that okay? I mean, Darius was spitting blood. Yusuf wasn't spitting blood. He was a little rattled, but he wasn't spitting blood. I don't know. I just know that having the boundaries of your body crossed is not good. It's why I don't go back to visit my family. Because last time I saw them, they attacked me. Physically. Anyway, Draymond, everybody's talking about you getting help or whatever. Like, whatever's going on with you, whatever the situation is, hugs to you. Anyway, to anybody who is living under the threat of violence or under constant assault at this time, my heart is with you. I know what it's like to live looking over your shoulder all the time, waiting, wondering when is the next time somebody is going to hurt me. I know what that's like. I live that way. I live that way. And people think it's funny. People think it's funny, right? I do this diary and then in public sometimes like people will make reference to it in a joking way, and things I'm talking about, particularly right now, are not jokes. This is a comedy. You know, I can talk about all the times I've been assaulted. I can do that. I can talk about it. And you live with that. Like it's an invisible mark on your body, right? It's an invisible tattoo. You wear that. You wear that assault for the rest of your life. And so, in 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 my instances, nobody ever does anything about it. It's okay. Evidently, I don't count. It's okay to do these things to me, right? It's permitted. Nobody gives a shit. And I think it's that way for a lot of people. Nobody gives a shit. It's like it's why when, there was all the stuff about, oh, got to be outraged about, what Hamas did to these women, these Israeli women. It's like, yeah, it's awful. I agree. I agree. It's awful. And awful things happen to women every day. And nobody gives a shit. I'm supposed to give a shit because they're Israeli? Oh, okay. So is that why nobody gives a shit when stuff has happened to me? Because I'm not Israeli? If I were Israeli, would it matter? Because, some of my heritage is Ukrainian and everybody's to stand with Ukraine, but nobody gives a shit that the stuff that's happened to me because I don't actually live in Ukraine. So what is it? What is it? What is it? What makes it matter to anybody living under violent situation, threat of violence or violence? My heart is with you. I understand. And particularly at this time of year, it's really hard, right? I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be happy and giving presents to people. And anyway, anyway,